Hi, everyone, and welcome to day 8 of the Mindful Movement and Breathwork Challenge. Today, we're going to focus on some self-care. This one came in by request to relieve TMJ or some jaw pain. And I think this is a really common thing. So I'm really excited to address it, and I hope that you enjoy it. So for this sequence, you don't really need any equipment. You can do it seated or even laying down. And come on and grab a comfy chair and we'll get started. So let's begin with maybe 3 or 4 nice, easy, mindful breaths. Just giving yourself a little bit of time to fully arrive into this moment. And before I show you these gentle myofascial TMJ techniques, what I want to begin with is to do a little visualization exercise with you. And so if you're willing to settle in, you can close your eyes for this if you'd like. And I want to invite you to bring to mind the last time you experienced a stressful event. And I'm thinking of something like 3 out of 10 scale. So don't go with a major event or a traumatic event, but just something really small, something minor. Somebody cut you off in traffic, or your day just wasn't going the way you wanted, minor frustration. But bring something to mind, maybe something recent-ish. Just invite you to turn that over in your mind a couple of times, just remembering what that was like. And as you think about this stressful event, get a sense, do a little bit of a compassionate body scan here. Get into a little mode of curiosity and notice where that energy is resonating in your body. Do you feel it register in your belly or your chest? What do you notice around your solar plexus area? Any little subtle squeezing in there? And do a little scan of your shoulders, in particular your upper shoulders, and just notice what position your shoulders kind of want to go in when you think about this stressor. And lastly, I'll invite you to check in with your jaw, and in particular, the musculature around your jaw. Do you feel any sense of holding in there? And what about your teeth? Get a sense of, is there any space between your upper teeth or lower teeth? This could kind of indicate whether your lower jaw is relaxed or not. Are your teeth together, or is there a little gap there? Okay. So gather all of that data and then maybe shake that off because, it's a little stressful. Think about stress. So why don't we incorporate a technique or two that we've learned so far in our 8 days of exploration, maybe one of the rhythmic rocking movements. You could just go into a little side-to-side sway for 30 seconds. Get it into a rhythm that feels really good, soothing. Perhaps even incorporate in your hand on the heart with the bumblebee breath. Just notice any change just in those few movements. All right, and I want to do one more quick visualization. This time, I want to go the other way and invite you to bring to mind the last time that you felt some type of elevated emotion. So this could be something like a sense of awe, being out in a really beautiful area, or maybe a sense of joy as your animal was being goofy, or just a random stranger smiling at you, and that sense of common humanity or appreciation. So bring that to mind and feel free to go all the way to 10 out of 10 on this scale, but bring to mind there's just an event that brought that up spontaneously. And then again, turn that over in your mind a couple of times. Really remember what that was like. Take a bit of time to really activate those creative centers in the brain, really focusing in. What color was the sky that day? Do you remember what the air smelled like? Do you remember what expression was on your face in that moment? Now, again, check in with your body, doing a little brief scan through anywhere in your body you feel that the energy of that event kind of registering or resonating in. Could be in your chest maybe, or belly, or face even. Do you feel any warmth or tingling? It's the quality of sensation in your body. And once again, scanning the shoulders. What position do your shoulders want to go in when you think about this? And how about your jaw? I mean, you might be smiling, so that's gonna change the shape of your jaw. But just get a sense of that. Particularly, again, that sense of, are your teeth resting together? Is there a space between your teeth? Is your lower jaw relaxed? So let's take a moment and just see if you can relax your jaw now. Typically, it's easier to allow for a little bit of space between your teeth, which is to just give the lower jaw a break and just let it rest. Doesn't have to stay there all day, every day, but just sometimes it just cannot let go. And so it's good to track that and see as a baseline what your jaw tends to do under stress and what it's able to do at rest. Let's see if there's a way to give a little more space between the upper teeth and the lower teeth. And see how it is to just kind of tuck your chin a bit and slide your chin back toward the front of your throat, kind of like giving yourself a teeny tiny double chin. And then lift the chin up and then lower it down again. And then we'll go into a few of our self-care strategies here. What we're going to do is do a little myofascial massage of our lower face. I want to orient you a little bit to where some of the muscles are, though. So if you bring your hands to just above your jawline, and if you bite a little bit, I just bite down. Doesn't have to be big, but just enough so that you can feel the muscles pop a bit. So that's where we're going to start, where you felt that little pop. So we're going to start on that line of tissue. And we're not going to dig into those muscles, but what we want to do is actually release the fascia that's above those muscles. So see if you can kind of even move the skin around a little bit, up and down, back and forth. And then what we're going to do is we're going to grab a little bit of skin with our fingers and pull up toward the cheekbones. And here you can allow the teeth to touch as you're doing that. They may not, but if they do, it's okay. So letting the skin move up toward your cheekbones. And you can go all the way up above the cheekbones. And here we're really, again, we're not massaging into the muscles, but we're grabbing the skin and dragging it up. You'll often really notice, like right now, I think my jaw tension is pretty relaxed, so I'm not really feeling much as I do this, but I sure know when I do some self-care and my jaw has been really tight, the fascia feels like I can really feel the stickiness of it. So if it hurts in any way, it's good to be really gentle. So if you feel any pain or discomfort, just ease off. And it's always good to be really delicate working with fascia. A little goes a long way. You know, in a way, working with fascia, the gentler, the better. In the myofascial world, we call these fascial facials. So you're giving yourself a facial too. And the next area that we want to work is in around the temples. So in this whole area here, again, we want to work with the fascia. These areas especially are really connected into the jaw. So same idea, just kind of get a sense of moving the skin around. You could maybe move the skin in circles. So not necessarily going into your temporalis muscle, but just feeling the skin around. And it might be really sensitive if you've got a headache or you've got jaw pain. So really, really, really gentle, gentle circles. It can be tempting to dig in when you've got some pain, but for the purpose of releasing the fascia and being a kind self-care practice, let's just not go into pain today. And then again, so you're just going to use your fingers to drag the skin up nice and gently. And then the last one we want to do is to just do a little traction. So finding that line of muscle again that was on the bottom, you can always bite just to feel where it is. And then just ever so softly let your fingers rest there. And slow as you can, let your fingers move in. See how spongy the tissues are there. Do they, if you let your fingers sink in, do you feel resistance or do you feel intuitive sense of like invitation? If you meet resistance, then ease off. As long as everything is sort of inwardly saying yes to the pressure, then go with it. But if you meet resistance, then go lighter. And then we're just going to drag down. So we go in and down. But the in, as we sink slowly, that in itself could take 30 seconds, and then the down could take another 30 seconds, and then we might want to hold for even another 30 seconds. And again, just thinking of this as like micromillimeters of movement, hardly any stretch. As you hold and let the lower jaw relax. Why don't we take 3 breaths here? See if you can allow your jaw to relax even 3% more. And when that feels complete, you can let all of that go. Another option is to just let some ear pulls really gently, just like moving your ears around. You can move your fingers on the inside of your ears and just kind of draw in circles in there. So all of the fascia around the ears are really connected too, so that can be really helpful. And why don't we just close with taking another few breaths here, settling in. You might be continuing to do little massages or gentle rubs in your face and ears. And then settling in to the breath. What we're going to do for maybe a minute is a parasympathetic stimulating breath. So what this one does is, or what we're going to do is bring the exhale to be longer than the inhale. So if you just take a normal inhale, and then as you exhale, just see if you can draw out your exhale nice and long. So it might be helpful for you to count how long it takes you to inhale and then count how long it takes you to exhale. And sometimes even just the counting itself allows the breath to slow down. It's like it knows it's being watched. Whatever number you get, if you're inhaling to 3 and exhaling to 4, for example, let's just see if for the next few cycles, and as long as it doesn't feel like strain, can you inhale to the same count that you've been getting, but increase your exhale by 1 or even 2 seconds? If it was taking you 3 seconds to inhale and 4 seconds to exhale, can you go 3 and 5? Would you even let that exhale move longer to a 6? And again, if it feels like when you go to inhale, you're kind of like gasping, or you feel that sense of strain or challenge to the breath, for this particular breath work, that would defeat the purpose. So what we want to do is really smooth out the breath and have the breath itself relaxed. So in whatever way you can allow that to happen, might even be 3 in, 3 out, if that's what works for you for the breath to be relaxed, to go for that. And as you're working with this relaxed breath now, slow, easy breath, a little bit longer on the exhale if possible. I'm going to invite you to bring to mind a memory again, and this time let's go with the last time you felt peaceful or content or just deeply relaxed, sort of at rest. Maybe that space right before you fall asleep at night, or when you're cuddled up with a loved one or a pet and you're just relaxed. And as you turn that over in your mind, again, noticing your body. Do you get a sense of maybe your bones a bit heavier? Do you get a sense of your muscles softening maybe? And how about one more time? Let's do a really easy self-tracking of the body and notice again this feeling of peacefulness, this feeling of contentment or relaxation. Where do you feel that the strongest in your body? Where in your body do you notice it? Does it register more in your belly or your chest or your face? And get a sense of your upper shoulders or just what position your shoulders want to go into as you think of this. And lastly, checking the jaw and the teeth. Is there a little bit more space in the teeth now in between the upper and the lower? Does the tongue feel relaxed in your mouth now? Just kind of tracking for any change, but really inwardly curious about that. And when that feels complete, and if you're in this really juicy, peaceful place, I really want to invite you to continue meditating for longer. But I just wanted to touch very quickly on the bulk of jaw care is awareness of how we're holding our jaw uh, throughout the day. And so I just want to invite you for maybe between today and tomorrow to check in on that 3 or 4 times, like up to 6 times a day, to just check in with what you're holding in the jaw. And my dog is now hitting his outside button because he would like to go outside. And I'm really grateful that you joined me for this session today. And I'm so excited to see you tomorrow. So with that, namaste.